did mention that they're playing their third game in 8 matches and they remain unchanged from their last game. Of course, Watkins in goal, Pennycook, Price, Flemings and Campbell in front of him, Satchel, Thompson, McCain and Reid in the middle of the park behind Barnett and Gray, Dwight.
Yeah, and Gray, as you mentioned there, he'll be expected to take the opportunities once they fought to Tivoli today. They will need to do that, and they're in their 4-4-2 formation with a diamond in the middle of the park so that they can nullify their opponent, who may have 3 central players. But Gray, as we said, and Barnett are going to be a handful for their opponents today.
Yep, so that's the Tivoli Gardens team linking up for the final time before the kickoff. And of course, Cavalier taking their team photo, and their starting lineup is an interesting one as well. Coach Rudolph Speed electing to go with a lot of industry players. They will play 3 at the back. In front of Jadine White, you have Leng, King and Topi. 4 in the middle of the park, Irving, Ming, Doxley and Murray. And the 3 up front, Simpson, yep, Kamoy Simpson, Dwayne Atkinson and Shaniel Thomas. We usually see a Kamoy Simpson in a deeper role, Dwight Jeremiah.
Well, I think he's trying to nullify threats and try and see if he could play from a higher line to try and stop his opponent today, playing a 3-4-2-1 system. Wide players are going to be critical in this system, and as I said before, Tivoli plays a diamond. 3 maybe in the middle of the park here for Cavalier, so they could be outnumbered at times.
Welcome back to the UEJFF Captain Horaceburg Centre of Excellence for semi-final 1 in the Jamaica Premier League, powered by Digital. Tivoli Gardens against Cavalier, the game on offer, the first game on offer this afternoon. So the referee's almost ready, just making sure that everything is on cue. Seconds away from the kickoff here, and it will be Tivoli Gardens with the possession. First few minutes, always interesting to see how they will start the proceedings, if they're going to be cagey or a little bit cautious, or for Tivoli's case, if they're going to be a little bit more reserved than usual, based on the fact that they've had a hectic schedule over the past week or so.
Well, some look at it as a positive, others will say, well, they're very, very sharp for the game.
And we're on the way here at the Centre of Excellence, and Tivoli Gardens losing it immediately. And Cavalier trying to capitalize early. Doxley was trying to send that one through to Dwayne Atkinson. And Tivoli forced to do some work over on that far side, committing the foul in the process. Free kick to Cavalier early in the piece.
And Satchel there, we saw him there being very forceful and committing the foul, but he's going to be critical for Tivoli in there. He's the man expected to break up the attacks. And you see they're not giving Doxley any room at all. And we expect that to continue as long as his legs will allow him to do so today.
Whatever wind there is behind Tivoli Gardens at the moment, so let's see if it's something that they'll be able to capitalize. The long ball is too long, and no problems there for the Tivoli custodian. Of course, Philip Williams in his first semi-final in the Jamaica Premier League. Looking for his team to make a good start, but they have to do some defending from early, trying to thwart the Cavalier team, coached by Rudolph Speed.
Yeah, and I feel that he thinks, along with his coaching staff, that this season is as good as an opportunity that he'll have at winning the league. And I am expecting them to give it their all in over these 2 legs to try and upset the apple cart, because yes, many will have Tivoli ahead of them in this one, but just slight.
A lot of neutrals would support Cavalier based on the setup that they have, in blooding youngsters and giving them a chance. Something that we're seeing a number of the other teams trying to do, as we just saw a glimpse there of Shavar Campbell, the left back of Tivoli Gardens, who will need some attention, I believe, from off the bench. Referee just checking up on him, but let's see what happened there. Just a follow through.
Maybe, yeah. He just got trotted on. See him just examining his toes there, or massaging them out. Probably just had studs on them. He's a player that has been around a long time, has a lot of experience. Played for Savannah FC and Village, both those teams defunct, but he's here doing a job for Tivoli.
In the hope that they don't become defunct as well. Here's the Tivoli Gardens getting that touch and moving across Deborah Gray. Couldn't quite keep it in his possession, and not sure if he's agreeing with the call from the referee.
And strikers never really do agree when they commit infringements.
On that occasion, he was arguing that he was probably held back there. Gray. This is Rashane Thompson deciding to go back to Kemar Flemings, and Thompson was on his heels there, and so Cavalier looking to capitalize, trying to thread that one through to Shanil Thomas was Dwayne Atkinson, and didn't quite reach the striker. Atkinson is going to be pivotal in this game, you can tell, and the likes of Barrington Price, the skipper, would have to be sharp in just blocking those options.
Yeah, we know Atkinson does have an eye for a pass from deep. That occasion we saw him just looking to send Thomas through, and however, I think just behind him, the pass just went behind him, and so he had to check his run to try and gather it, but wasn't able to do so. But those are signs of things to come, you feel.
The players will feel some relief. A few clouds doing their jobs at the moment, so not quite the blazing sunlight that we started off the game in.
Tivoli, I see them doing defensive work here. 2 games before getting into the playoff, they conceded 4 goals over those 2 games. But in their 2-leg against Veer in the quarterfinals, they kept 2 clean sheets. But they did give up some good goal-scoring opportunities. You just feel Veer is not the best team to take advantage of it, but as you heard Philip Williams saying, they spent the entire week working on that because they know in the ranks of Cavalier they have players who can and would take advantage of those opportunities if they were to present themselves.
And boy, don't they have some attacking power on the bench, Tivoli Gardens, just in case plan A isn't working. And we didn't expect the result as we saw against Veer in the playoffs. They ran the show and came away with a 4-0 win over the best defensive unit in the league.
Yeah, I think what they did was to get that early goal against Veer, or to it that Veer felt it was a missed call from the referee, who later, I think, agreed that, it probably touched the arm of the player who sent it across, and that sort of caused Veer to play out of their comfort zone, which was to open up, and once they did that, Tivoli took advantage of it.
Trayvon Reed was instrumental there, and he also got his first goal this season, looking to deliver a good cross here for Tivoli Gardens. It's not a backward one at all. There's a screen for a handball, and the referee blows his whistle to point the other way in favour of Cavalier. They have a free kick in their own penalty area.
Yeah, it was a good corner kick that came over. They have a look here, just over the head. Complaining for a handball. Well,
no.
On that occasion, even if it did, the hand was very close to the body. And no way they were going to get that call. It's just giving the referee an idea of what he's going to have to deal with today. There's a lot at stake on this game.
Ming isn't well. And not sure exactly what happened here. Oh, he's holding his groin. This doesn't look good for Cavalier.
No, not at all. And depending on the nature of it, it's not something you just can run off. And where he plays also for Cavalier, it's a situation where we would expect it to really put a lot of pressure.
You almost look at certain fouls and see the contact, and then at least you know what you're working with. But when he just went down like that and held on to the area, It's not something that you want to fool around with at all, as you mentioned, Dwight Jeremiah. And Giovanni Leng over on the far side appears to be struggling as well. He looks in better shape though than Ming.
Yeah, and match sharpness is something that a lot would have questioned. The fact that they would have sat down for 2 weeks. You see Webster there probably licking his chops that he will get a chance to get on the field at some point today. I'm pretty sure of that he will. Just down to strategies that he's off. Probably just looking for some impetus off the bench is without speed later on in this game.
Seems to be in perfect order now, Ming.
Yes, it would appear so. You really wouldn't want this spectacle to be spoiled by teams having to make early changes and losing some players that would be critical to their display.
And he was critical last time out, did Cavalier, as they made their way into the second spot in the league. Mingen scoring that goal, running on.
Yes, it was. They needed to have won the 2 games that they had to play coming into it, and we see again, is it Campbell that is down? I think that's an awkward fall.
Yeah, he landed pretty heavily there. But, well, he still has his attitude.
He really is a fighter.
Yes,
this
he
little
is.
number 8 didn't have the opportunity to break his fall, and would have hit the turf very hard. I'm pretty sure he's going to continue.
Trayvon Reed going all the way back to Flemings, who will play further up that flank. Tivoli Gardens, they haven't done a lot in the attacking third, and we're 10 minutes into the game now. Although, to be fair, neither team has settled. Cavalier now trying to make the transition from out of defense. Jamoy Topi, we're usually used to seeing him in the middle of the park as well, but he's part of a back 3 set up by Woodall's speed. Thomas with a nice first touch. Kamoy Simpson. Shot from distance, it's not a bad effort, you know.
Yeah, we do know that Doxley can strike it from distance, and we've seen him, one of the utility players here for Cavalier, have been employed as a part of a back 4. But a lot of times we see him in the middle of the park. He just ran onto that one. You don't want to give him all that time and space to execute, because, as we said, has a good shot on him.
Capped 18 times by St. Lucia, Doxley. Just 1 goal to his name so far this season. He's looking to add to it with another ambitious effort. Melvin Doxley. Atkinson in some space to work with. Typical that he would head to the byline, and he does. He was looking for someone around the penalty spot. Nobody was there. Again, Doxley. I think he was attempting the shot, you know.
He was, but that, it looks like, based on the trajectory, he was going to go for the bar, but Satchwell was not going to take any chances with that, and that's what he's in there for, to really break up the play and block those shots from distance. And we saw before that the ball coming in from Atkinson. He was up against Pennycook, who is a very good reader of the game, positions himself well, but this is what Atkinson will do today, bring some pace to it, which Pennycook is lacking, and I think that's where Cavalier could get some joy if they could isolate him up against one of their most talented player in Atkinson.
There's the delivery at the near post. He was trying to flick that one across Dwayne Atkinson. Oh, there's a foul committed by Kyle Ming. But Atkinson did well to reach that one at the near post. I think he was trying to just provide a deflection.
Yeah, because of his positioning, it was ahead of the front post, so it wasn't going to be easy for him to get an attempt on goal. So he was just looking to put it in a dangerous area for one of his other teammates to try and make something of it.
A couple of former Kingston College youngsters trying to make a mark. Trayvon Reed, who wears the number 11 for Tivoli Gardens as well. Dwayne Atkinson wearing the number 10 for Cavalier. All these youngsters again trying to make that transition to the senior level. Not off to a bad start at all. Trayvon Reed in particular, I believe he has experienced a growth spurt in the past year or two. Yeah, but we're used to seeing him as a wiry figure, Trayvon Reed, but he has put on some muscle mass as well, and he's much more vocal, I can tell you.
Definitely good for him in terms of his development.
Yep.
And that will help him to really make the transition to the senior level.
Has had Premier League experience though for a couple of seasons. Would have been disappointed that he would have missed out last year though because of the whole pandemic situation. There's great tries to did he keep that one in? Apparently he did. Gray did some really good work there and was pressuring Richard King all the time.
All we had there just probably studs as the player tried to avoid stepping on his opponent there, Ming. Just on the shoulder.
Yeah, he was really trying to avoid it. It's always an awkward situation. He comes across to apologize.
We did see Ming holding his face rather than the shoulder.
Thing is, he could have also hurt himself too, you know.
Exactly. Maybe twisted ankle or something like that.
Hyperextended knee, maybe. But all's well that ends well. Gray with the first touch. That needed a better pass from Thompson. Satchwell has it now for Tivoli Gardens. Trying to play it out wide. Gadale Irving is always a quick one across the turf. Managing to distract just now.
Yeah, just got there in time and didn't allow Gray to really get it under his spell to drive down the line. I think so far in this game, in the 16th minute, I don't think we've seen any activity from Tivoli Gardens in the 18-yard box of Cavalier. So Cavalier would be doing well in that regards. Philip William there, while he would have spent the entire week to work on his defensive shortcomings with his team, not seeing the attacking side at all. Would he have overcompensated?
Ming collects. The flag has gone up for offside. Yep, flag shown against him. Anyone at the ground from Manchester would probably roll their eyes if they ever hear me say that. Cool conditions here at the Center of Excellence, but it is actually much cooler
than when we
started. It was at the beginning of the game, yeah.
Some will say cool is relative, huh? It's still hot for some persons.
But I can tell you that it's a relief for the players at the moment. Len going on one of his runs and finally found the ball to Atkinson, who finds Shanil Thomas, who has to just... Well, he was trying to put up the handbrake. He was also running out of real estate as well. Couldn't control the ball, and in the end, it's a goal kick for Tivoli Gardens.
I think Atkinson could have held that one a little bit more. He had gotten past Pennycook And I think at that occasion could have just taken another touch and probably would have seen some opportunity for him to drive into the penalty box. It's still early as we would have it here in this game. I think that's what we were fearing somewhat, but again early, that these two teams are very good attacking teams. But at the moment, based on their setup and their approach to this one, cancelling each other out at the moment. And that's why early this week when asked what I think it would be, despite I know goals are in these two teams, so often we've seen, as I said, tactics that muzzle teams attacking play, and feel that this one could even have a goal that separate them, a solitary goal.
Cavalier, they're not known to be quick starters, I can tell you that. 12 of Cavalier's 16 goals this season have come in the second half. So, not a lot of goal mouth activity in the first half, but I wonder if they're just missing a trick here by not getting really out on the front foot and work Tivoli Gardens in this first half, just to see what they're made of, you know.
But maybe their shortcoming in that regard are not being able to do so.
Can Lynn keep this one in play? No, he cannot.
It has to do with the fact that they have been inactive for 2 weeks, and maybe as well they're getting up to match speed in this game. So a couple of factors why we're not seeing both teams really being expansive and being very fluent in attack.
Committing the foul there, showing no signs of the groin injury or the apparent groin injury you would have picked up a little bit earlier.
Yeah, happy that it's nothing serious. You spoke about Cavalier mixing things up. Kamoy Simpson further up the park. We saw him earlier on just a few moments ago. Beautiful take in terms of his first touch. So, a player that has adapted well further up the park, Donald. And whatever the strategy that has seen Coach Speed put him up there, I think so far I would be pleased with what he has seen.
Lost in a dangerous area. Oh, they're pleading for a penalty. Probably not a lot in that. The ball was moving away from Atkinson by the time he went down. But it will be interesting to see it again on the replay as to what exactly the referee would have seen to not give the penalty on that occasion.
I think a little soft and too easy to go down there, Atkinson, as we see Cavalier there bossing the possession at the moment, 56% of it, and Tivoli just 44.
Trayvon Reed getting a slap in the face, apparently from Kamoy Simpson.
And we know Simpson will not hesitate at all in tracking back. He's used to that territory of the pitch. Nothing malicious, you feel?
No, but a slap is a slap, and that would have hurt.
Yeah, which is why the referee called it, but there's no need to do anything more than that to Simpson.
Well, Doxley showing some skills there. Oh, well done.
Lovely footwork there from Doxley.
Oh, the ball over the top, too heavy for Atkinson. Shanil Thomas was also making a run as well. Yeah, but the ball wasn't forthcoming at all.
I think it was Irvin on that occasion. Just needed to take a little bit off that pass.
Here's a chance for Tivoli Gardens now. It's a long time we haven't seen them in the attacking third. And they haven't done a lot with it. Cavalier, they had their numbers back. Satchel is going to try and get under the skin of Dwayne Atkinson. The referee almost like a big brother on that occasion, talking to Satchwell and saying, I'll handle it. I'll handle it. I got you.
But I think I've seen a couple of times, last couple of games when Dwayne Atkinson's out there, is a feature that a lot of the opponents coming up against him will do. They will try to be very physical against him, just to put him off his game. And it's expected when you're that talented and very tricky when on the ball. Players will not want to give you the time of day, and also will certainly want to get very physical against you. As we come up on the first water break of this encounter. Not much doing. I think a lot of the play for Tivoli is happening in front of Cavalier's back line, and that makes it very easy for them, not having a lot of space for runners to go into. Cavalier once without the ball dropping a bit deep, and that has made it easy for them to defend. Tivoli will have to rethink how they got a Cavalier. Cavalier in their attack too haven't caused much trouble. A few anxious moment with balls going across the goal of Tivoli, but not much doing. Both teams not able to carve out really good goal scoring opportunities so far.
Asked you this earlier in terms of Cavalier not quite being on the front foot when they are playing in this first half, and I did mention the fact that the majority of their goals have come in the second half. Shouldn't they have pushed Tivoli Gardens more in this first stanza?
Like I said, you would have expected them to do that because on the back that Tivoli would have been coming into their third game in 8 days, and for some of these players would have been he didn't change the starting lineup, Coach Williams, so yeah, you'd feel like Cavalier would be better served, or would have been better served to go at them. But again, like we said earlier, they would have been inactive for 2 weeks and maybe just not up to speed to be able to do so. And as the game we're on, we'll see them get more into their stride. But even with the fact that they have put a Kamoi Simpson further up the park, tells you a lot about their approach to the game. They know this Tivoli team is very dangerous if they give them a lot of space, and so I think Coach Speed is concerned as well with having the right balance to be able to stop this Tivoli team when they go on the attack.
It's difficult to win a two-way playoff from the first leg, although we have seen comebacks before. And I guess it can work both ways in the sense that teams would probably go gung-ho in the first few minutes and try to make a mark on their game, and if they're behind, of course they can, conserve. But I guess it can also go the other way where, okay, this is just the first leg, we don't need to go full throttle in the first stanza or in the first leg, so let me just hold back a little bit.
Yeah, that could be the case too as well, but we've seen, as in the quarterfinals where we saw Mount Pleasant up against Harbourview in that first leg, that a 3-1 win for them was massive for them going through, because Harbourview got an early goal in the second leg, and had it only been one goal in it from the first leg.
That's not a bad delivery at all, it's headed out to be collected now by Ming. That wasn't the best ball inside the area. Satchwell was there, and Tivoli Gardens should come away with it. Satchwell looking for options.
So the point is that both these two teams would be really helpful if they can get a healthy lead from the first leg. You can't win it. You certainly can go a long way in doing so.
That was a wonderful challenge initially there from, was that Thompson over on that far side for Tivoli Gardens?
It does look like it was Thompson.
Tracking back there and stopping Atkinson in his tracks, Roshane Thompson. This is Trayvon Reed. Jamoy Topi was sharpest there to come in front of Devroy Gray. And now Cavalier will go the other way. Here they come. Shanil Thomas out wide, has 2 to aim for. Lost possession. Thompson finding McCain. Heavy first touch.
Yeah, managed to get away with that, McCain, because there was no Cavalier player. Just Atkinson, he was far away. He was ahead of the football. But that's pretty much sums up what we've seen from Tivoli so far going forward. Just breaks down once it gets into that final third.
I get the impression that Tivoli Gardens are holding back. On a couple of occasions, I realized that there's a massive gap between the midfield and their strike force.
Yeah, where Satchel has positioned himself. Gray, Reed, and Barnett are well ahead of Satchel. So they're sitting deep. I think they're mindful of the fact that this youthful Cavalier team, they don't want to push that defensive line too high and give them opportunities to play that ball into the space in behind, because there'd have to be a lot of foot race there. We see Simpson putting more of his defensive display or qualities on display there.
Utilizing his wits there.
Yeah, Gray don't feel like he's getting a lot of joy from the referee here, but I think some of his teammates on the bench just telling him that he needs to protect it better. Now that will further infuriate Gray, and on the verge of getting a yellow card. Will he get it?
On the verge?
Yeah, he has gotten it. Well, he was on the verge a while ago. Now it's become a reality, and I think it's just been frustrated with a number of calls not going his way, and it just boiled over just now.
And he's going to the bench now, the referee. As we take a look at the replay here, he was never going to get a yellow card for that. But of course, he did have a few words to say to the referee.
But also, it's not just Gray that has gotten a yellow card. The reserve goalkeeper in Nicholas Clark seemed to have been shown a yellow card as well. One has to be mindful too that the last time these two teams met, both of them were on the receiving end of red card. So that's the yellow card to the reserve goalkeeper. That's Clark. But like I was saying, the last time these two teams met ended 1-1, but also both of them had a red card apiece. It was Reed in the 47th minute for Tivoli. And Cavaliers' red card came in the 78th minute on that occasion.
Long ball across to Ming. Ming has 3 to aim for. No problems there for goalkeeper Watkins. Trying to set free Barnett. We haven't seen a lot from Barnett, but that wasn't the best control from Topi, but he got away with it. I guess you can say it was good combination work at the back there between Topi and King.
I guess it was calmness personified.
McCain was pulled back, and once Tivoli lost possession, the call was going to be made by referee Mason.
Yeah, one of the easiest calls that he'll make today, and didn't see any Cavalier players making a fuss about it. Has gone forward for Tivoli, looking to commit numbers on this free kick.
Satchwell inside the area, not a bad delivery. Still a chance for Tivoli Gardens! But the whistle has gone. But what a finish that was, though. But did the whistle go because of a high boot?
That's what I think the referee is contending here. As we have another look at it. It was Topi who would have been deemed to be put in danger by the execution of that overhead kick. And yes, the boot did touch Topi. That was a good finish.
Well, Stephen Barnett, though,
yes,
he's been in some form. You know, but for the good of a good goal, So you may want to excuse some casualties, right?
That was never going to happen. And I don't think Cavalier would let us hear the end of that one. But yeah, I think it was the right call by the referee in the end. So set play is the means by which Tivoli has looked most dangerous in this game. They did commit a lot. And they won the first and second ball, which was critical. Even the third.
I guess we can safely say that was the best goal this season not allowed.
Most definitely. Tivoli, they do have persons in their ranks that love to execute the overhead kicks. We know that Horatio Morgan, one of his goal in his hat-trick was a overhead kick. And he's a player that is on the bench that could come on for Tivoli. You spoke earlier, Donald, about Tivoli having depth on the bench, and I think that's where they have the edge over Cavalier. And there we see Morgan, the man who has the only hat-trick so far this season, got into some disciplinary issues after scoring that hat-trick and was left out the game after that, but he did return for the second leg of the quarterfinals.
Anxious moments for Tivoli Gardens just now as Leng trying to push forward at the end of the pass there. Leng trying to make room for the power in a shot which wasn't forthcoming, and it was an easy take for Watkins.
Yeah, it was a cheeky pass, just a nice chip over the top. And Leng was onto it, and you felt something would have come out of it.
Here's Gray, tripped up by Kamari Simpson. I don't even think Gray said a couple of words. He just looked at the referee like...
Are you going to give somebody else what you gave me?
McCain. Well, that was a heavy first touch, wasn't it? Although it was always going to be difficult to handle, to be fair. It had a lot of power, that pass. Here's Atkinson heading to the byline, but there's nobody inside the box, and oh, that's a good challenge there, denying him. And Penny Cook has been working well all season, the defender.
He has been very good, as I said. Does not lose much one-on-one duels, and there again Atkinson was looking to use his pace to get away from him. Pennycook stuck with him and used his long legs to get at Atkinson, as he did gain a couple of yards on him, but Pennycook stuck to the task.
Pennycook 1, Atkinson 0. It's Atkinson with a corner kick though. For Cavalier, they've sent bodies inside the area. I count 6, but that's a poor delivery from Atkinson. You'll be disappointed with that as well, as Tivoli Gardens, can they counter in the heat? They took forever to advance that ball.
And then McCain's pass was a poor one.
Late challenge coming in there, and the Satchwell will go into the referee's book. No surprise there, the challenge on Doxley was late.
It was, and it's because of that youthfulness, I have to say too. As we look at the challenge, he was late, definitely late, and got most of Doxley. But Cavalier as well, we see the yellow cards numbers climbing for Tivoli. Cavalier, they've been involved in games with more red cards than any other teams this season. They have just gotten 1, but they've been involved in games so far this season with 4 red cards. So
they tick a lot of people off.
Yes, they
apparently.
do. And because of the quality in their team and the pace.
Leng moves by his mark and then sends the ball inside to Ming. Ming, his shot was blocked, and he goes down in a heap. Here's Tivoli. There's a whistle on the play. What's happening here?
I think the flag went up.
You'd hope that's what happened. In the meantime, he needs some attention.
I think it was
Shavar Campbell.
Yeah, he put himself on the line, and that was fizzed in with a lot of force.
It looked as if a sniper took him out. Look, he went down in installments because he was trying to put on a brave face there, but he realized, nope, I cannot stand up after that one.
That would have knocked the wind and the stuffing out of him for a moment there. He tried to stay on his feet, but the body would not allow him to. And that's literally,
especially with these conditions, because you'd be already out of breath, and then the humidity, and then to have the the little wind that you had inside of you
Yes.
knocked out.
Yeah, I mean,
And Ming is a powerful kicker, you know.
full force of the instep in it, he hit straight through the line of it. I mean, it's a dangerous ball. Had it been allowed to go across in there, we saw it was Simpson that was waiting on it to come across. All it needed was just a redirection because it had so much pace on it. But Campbell took all that pace in his chest.
I mean, he should be all right.
Eventually he will be.
So I guess we could remark how him going down almost looked like a dance that could be manufactured out of nothing.
I guess when the season is over and we have the replay and just a feature on it that will...
Or EVS operators should have fun with that one.
We may see it again, put it that way.
So Var Campbell, he's going to be alright though. Referee just taking a look at his watch. Probably he himself can't believe that there are 7 more minutes to go in the first half. But alas, and there should be some additional time for stoppages as well, obviously with the water break, and there have been a couple other breaks as well.
Yes, I don't see them playing less than 3 minutes, you feel.
Well, that's a conservative number, but sure, 3 minutes.
I take in consideration the conditions out there.
Right, of course. Here's Leng again. He's gone on a couple of runs in the last few minutes over on that far side Leng. Now he's looking for an outlet. It's a short pass to Atkinson. Didn't do a lot with that one. Can he keep it in play? That's the question. He does. Trayvon Reed has one in support. Couldn't keep his footing though.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot throughout the season where players just lose their footing at a crucial moment on this turf.
Trying to hold on to possession, Cavalier. Shaniel Thomas lost it to Satchwell. Satchwell goes long. And Barnett trying to get there, and being a shield was Topi.
Yeah, Topi was quite big in that moment, but literally and figuratively as well. Massive that his recovery run was in between Barnett and the ball.
You know, if he stays fit and works on his game, that boy can be anything, you know, Jamoy Topi. And here's Cavalier. The flag had gone up for offside anyway against Cadiel Irving. But yeah, Topi, he's one of those players, utility players for Cavalier, can play in the holding midfield role. Obviously, this afternoon he's playing in defense. A couple of times his name would have been mentioned to be a part of the national setup, the number 5 for Cavalier. There he is. But I tell you, he really can be anything.
Oh, I think that's a good sign for him, and it should tell him that he's just on the cusp of something big. Just need to continue to work on it. The fact that he is able to play in the holding midfielder role and at the back means that he should be reading the game very well. His positioning is critical. And if he can work on those recovery run and increase his speed over short distance, then you're right, Donald. He can go places.
Get the feeling that I haven't even seen him peak fitness, Jamoy Topi. But yes, as you mentioned, really something that he would have to work on as well.
And no time given to Atkinson there. They're right at him.
Here's Topi. Topi thinking of the shot, and it goes well wide.
Yeah, wide of the target, but good height as well. I think he was in 2 minds. He could have struck it earlier, but just looking and surveying in front of him, and once he didn't feel pleased that the options in front of him were better than him shooting, then he let fly.
And they were giving him the space.
They were. Maybe that's the reason why, because you know he has a good power, but not the direction.
Campbell did well there, finding Satchwell.
And Simpson being much bigger than Campbell didn't get any sympathy, saying that a little arm came across his face.
Oh, Flemings does well. Trying to thread that one through. Trayvon Reed was trying to be cheeky there.
Yeah, I felt he could have just hold that one up a little bit.
Doxley showing his strength. Ball switched over to that far side. Played inside to Atkinson. Atkinson was trying to fit the header onto Shanine Thomas. You know, it almost worked. But again, Pennycook has been so good.
Yeah.
He really has been for Tivoli Gardens, not just in this game, but as I said before, for the season, the defender.
Yeah, he has been. I tell you, the one-on-ones, he doesn't lose much of those. And you'd feel with Atkinson and his pace, you'd feel that he'll be in a lot of trouble today. But because his positioning is so good and he's reading off the game so well, then Atkinson's going to have to do much more than just using his pace.
Ball over the top. Oh, that's a lovely first touch from Irving. Decided to go back. Doxley. That was a poor pass from him. And now we'll go the other way. Gray. White will watch it all the way. Usually quite confident. J.D. White.
Yeah, but you still have to keep your eyes on those moments. We did see one against Harborview and Mount Pleasant, and it was Priestley and goalkeeper Chambers who really couldn't get their bearings about them.
Leng did well to find Thomas there. Thomas goes back to Leng. He has 4 to aim for inside the box. Just over the head of Atkinson. And Watkins does well to pick up that one. Campbell again finds a turf.
Yeah, I think he felt that he didn't get much help from his team.
I think he's frustrated.
Yeah, he is. He might have gotten a little. We'll have to see whether or not Atkinson caught him any at all. But he also did turn his head away when that ball came in. It wasn't so wise from him, as we saw it here. Yeah, maybe just hit him. Yeah, I think the ball is what hit him, the side of the head. But it's a case where he's been followed all over the park by the ball, but also complaining that he had to make his way inside there to become a central defender at the time, and I felt that he should have had more work from his other defenders who had swung across and should not have allowed that ball to come inside.
So we're hearing that just 2 minutes will be added for stoppages.
You see, I was conservative with 3. I would say not more than 3. So I'm in the ballpark.
Thomas is offside. Yeah, you're in the ballpark, all right. They've had enough of the sun.
The closest we've come to a goal is a ball in the back of the net for Tivoli. That was dangerous play.
I'm sorry, something just came to my mind. If you're conservative, that means that the officials are tea party. Because I can't imagine how they just got 2 minutes, but fine. Sure. 2 minutes it is.
Yes, it's what it is. Maybe they'll put it on the back end and satisfy you somewhat, Donald. So we'll wait and see at the end of the other 45.
I want to respond to that, what you just said. Here's Campbell. Get the throw for Tivoli Gardens. They have about 90 seconds to go. Can they capitalize here? There was a handball there, surely. Yep, from Gray. Would want to forget this half as quickly as possible, the striker.
Yeah, he's not getting much joy out of this Cavalier defense, and it's really been frustrating for him. But his teammates, I think he can be a little bit stronger with his back to goal. I think he needs to do better holding up the play, and that man would be pleased with how they've handled the likes of Reed, Barnett and Gray.
We were pleased if they got a goal, but no, that was a misplaced pass. But they get it back again. Chance here for Irving. Thomas making his way inside the box. It's overweight, that pass. That was really a good chance for Cavalier, you know.
Overweight and too early, I felt. I don't think Thomas had arrived yet. He needed probably 2 more strides to get there, and he could have held it up for shots a little bit more.
Well, there isn't a lot of time here for Cavalier, so let's see what they can do with this possible final bit of play as we close out the first half.
The throwing is delayed by Doxley's sitting down, so the referee has decided to call it quits here, and his teammates not pleased with the fact that he stopped their opportunity. So less than 2 minutes.
A game of few chances, 0-0 at the break. Tivoli Gardens in orange and black against Cavalier, and both teams locked at 0-0 presently, and we're about to get the second half on the way now. Cavalier, well, they had the majority of the quote-unquote chances in the first half. Not a lot of goal-mouth activity to talk about. But I suspect that both teams will not be as reserved, or you'd hope they aren't as reserved in the second half as they were in the first. Dwight Jeremiah?
Well, Tivoli, they did get the ball in the back of the net, albeit that it was a disallowed goal because of dangerous play with the overhead kick. So you'd feel like these two teams will have to, something will have to give. But we have hope, Donald, because in the 12 games they've played so far, Tivoli, in the regular round, preliminary round, they had only failed to score once, and that was against Mount Pleasant. They didn't score against Veer in the first leg, but they made up with 4 goals in the second. Cavalier, they've only failed to score once against Dumbarholden, and Dumbarholden scored early and sat deep. So on that trend, we expect goal, at least one.
Pass didn't quite make it from Gray to Barnett, and so Cavalier will come forward once again. Leg continues his run, and he's found by Gadale Irving. This one sent inside to Thomas, who for some reason I don't think he was expecting it at all.
Yeah, I think he was put off by Price. I think it was Price who missed his kick to clear it at the near post. As we have a look here, yeah, it was Price, so he didn't expect it to come through. He expected Price to deal with it. But as a striker in there, they say you don't expect, or you should just anticipate it coming.
It's a big chance there for Shaniel Thomas.
So that's a good start from Cavalier. That would be important for them. It is their wide play that we think should concern Tivoli the most. We did make mention of it when we spoke earlier to Coach Williams. He did say those wide players, things that he would have done a lot of work in trying to prevent balls to them.
Chance for Tivoli Gardens as this one is swept in by Thompson. Shot from distance is wide of the mark, and it was well, he always had a lot of ambition, Dasha Satchwell.
Yeah, he's not in this game necessarily for that, so it's a bonus if he could have gotten that one on target. Really the player that you expect to break up the play, but that one was always rising and going wide.
Kicked straight to the ball there, did Satchwell. Here's a chance now for Tivoli Gardens. Thompson. Handled by King.
A bad turnover there from Cavalier.
Satchwell. Nice touch out wide. Here's a chance for Gray. Handled by King. Tivoli Gardens will try again. Needs a good delivery, that wasn't one. Reed has to retrieve, gets last touch of Reed apparently.
Yeah, a bit too soft in that challenge read, and had he gone much firmer, and he probably would have been in a better position to claim that one. But for a moment there, a bit of a sustained pressure from Tivoli. Still didn't materialize into anything worrying for Cavalier.
Pennycook committing the foul there.
I think it was quite favourable for Thomas there to get that call. Didn't see a whole lot in it.
And Pennycook, a man who just goes about his business.
Yeah, I think he went down too easy for my liking.
He didn't even argue, Pennycook.
Well, his teammates did. Maybe he's just a quiet lad.
Irving is offside. Yeah, two of the young, upcoming, top defenders, you'd say, in this game. Richard King of Cavalier, of course, and Pennycook of Tivoli Gardens.
Yeah,
King, of course, would have been recently called up to the national setup for the World Cup qualifiers. There he is, Richard King.
Yeah, it's good to see that. So often we focus on the attacking play. It's good to see young players really demonstrating the willingness and the right attitude, technique, and desire to do well defensively. Pennycook there, as you said, has been consistent throughout the season. I mean, we expect him to continue in that vein, and it looks like both these two teams will have to call upon their benches today if they're to really affect this game in a positive way. And we feel that number 7 showing there in Webster is probably at the front of the queue for Cavalier.
Of course, there is no away goals rule system for this Premier League, and of course they are playing at neutral venues. You almost get the feeling that the teams would call a truce for this first leg and say, okay, let's just go for it in the second leg, because there's little to play for. There's no home advantage. You really have to, be at peak mental levels to really say let's really go for something like this in the first leg.
And yeah, because it's over 2 legs, teams will feel like, I mean, it's not the end of the world if we come out of this one even Stevens. I mean, we saw, and even Tivoli will feel good about it because they just came out of a game, a 2-legged tie with Veer, the best defensive team in the league, and they were held 0-0 in the first leg, but they got the better of them in the second by 4 goals.
Reed picks it up, runs into space. Trayvon Reed looking to find Devroy Gray. Didn't reach him, of course.
I think also the run from Thompson wasn't the right one. He ran into the path of Reed.
Thompson kept his balance there. Barnett trying to thread it across to Reed, and it's blocked.
So yeah, the run was not the ideal one from Thomas earlier with Reed driving forward.
Ball played inside the area, and that should be a throw into Tivoli Gardens, I believe.
Yeah, it looks that way. Confirmed.
Play being called back.
It's a good play from Cavalier. They didn't allow the ball to go back to the thrower so that he could get a ball inside. So good defensive work there. And like I said, Cavalier, they have matured as the season went on. As they started the season, they were gung-ho, just going forward, quite open, looking to overrun their opponents on every occasion they get.
Simpson gets there and tried to go for glory himself.
I think he could be the, well, in terms of the attacking players, could make way eventually. I don't think he's the player that they would have decided that he would be likely to play 90 minutes in that position today. Probably just using up some valuable time to hold Tivoli at bay and wear them down even further, and then bring on the likes of Webster.
Ball almost found its way through. Thomas couldn't get by Price on that occasion.
I think Price just checked his run and initiated the contact. And did not go on to his goalkeeper, probably would have gotten the call. Yeah, Fleming was caught by Atkinson. Tivoli is quite, and Donald, going back to your point earlier about Cavalier not really going at Tivoli pretty early and playing this at a moderate pace. You know, as I said, probably was match rusty and you'd expect it to pick up later on, but it's not really happening yet in this early section of the first half, and the game pretty much playing at a pace that would probably suit Tivoli.
Irving. So we're going to be making 2 changes now.
Yeah.
Rashane Thompson is coming off. Horatio Morgan will make his entrance, not surprisingly.
Yeah, then he goes. Since his goal threat, his hat-trick has been a goal threat.
Stephen Barnett has also been taken out. Well, Anthony Nelson will come on. So some attacking intent here being shown by Philip Williams.
Yeah, I think he's seen enough from his team to suggest that that bluntness in attack is not going to change with the personnel that he started with, and as such he has looked to put fresh legs and fresh ideas. Morgan should be a lively one because he didn't play the first leg of the quarterfinal, came on the second leg, so not a lot of distance in his legs in recent weeks.
McCain. Handled well by Doxley, and the pass to Kamori Simpson wasn't 100% accurate. Simpson still applying the pressure though.
Yeah, Price was trying to sell in a dummy, pointing to his goalkeeper as if he intended to pass there but didn't.
Simpson gets it back. Now it's with Shanil Thomas inside the box. Oh, he had a vital interception there from that young defender again. You know, Dean Pennycook.
Yeah, position right, just allow Thomas to come to him, and was really goal side, which was good position, and then just got a toe in to have it run out for a corner. And now we'll have his team regroup and try and see if they can organize themselves to defend this corner. But McCain lost the ball in the middle of the park, and we've seen a few times today passes going astray and probably holding on to the ball a bit too long at times, and he's going to have to adjust his game because Cavalier, they can hit on the counter quite quickly.
Here's a corner kick for Cavalier. That's not a bad looking one at all. Watkins had to get a hand there. Tivoli guards now trying to go the other way. Flemings. And Anthony Nelson should have provided a better ball there to Horatio Morgan.
In some way too, it seems Morgan had checked his run just before the pass was made. But yeah, the pass could have been better for sure. And that was a perfect opportunity.
Reed. Price switching it over to the left now. Shavar Campbell delivers. Gray was trying to get on the end of it. headed back inside. Morgan trying to get there was not going to win that battle with Jamoy Topi.
And I thought he knew that. That is why he went down in a heap and looked to the referee to give him some sympathy.
Didn't get it.
But he should get that one.
Some distance out. Take a look at what happened there. Yeah, Irving wasn't even trying. He was just all bent on pushing him out of the way. Yeah, this is going to be a delivery inside the box. It's Satchwell who's behind it. As I said, it's some way out. And he would be kicking into the breeze. It will be a difficult proposition to go the distance from there.
Judging from the setup, though, I think he's going to serve it up. You can see all the Tivoli players join the Cavalier players away from the goal. And I suspect that area in front of goal is where the ball will be served up for them to run on and attack it.
Reed delivers at the back post to the chance. It's hacked out by Topi. They have some big men at the back, Cavalier. Here's a chance. Played inside. Horatio Morgan. Morgan's shot is blocked. Delson tries to keep it alive. It's with Trayvon Reed. Not a lot behind that one. Atkinson, can he keep it in play? He can not.
Just run it over. I give you a blind there, Donald, because yeah, as you said, he just could, he did, and then his next touch was just poor and it just ran over. Wasn't aware where he was at the time. But again, Morgan there just couldn't get his shot off with much power. But like I said, I expect him to be lively because he's probably he's very fresh because of the game time he has had over the last 2 weeks. Or lack thereof.
Not the best play to lose it, the Cavalier. Reed swinging that one across. McCain couldn't get a hold of it. Deroy Gray to McCain. McCain to Trayvon Reed. And Gray was trying to get a deflected effort there. White goes down, and I suspect that this will be the time to take a little break.
Well, he went down to and we're wondering, didn't have to effect a save just now. But again, sometimes it's a strategy used as well when teams are under the catch, under some pressure. The game cannot continue with the goalkeeper going down, so sometimes you will have the goalkeeper go down just to break the momentum somewhat. It could be genuinely injured, but we also know that it's also a situation that could occur, but he's showing some signs that he's genuinely injured, but nonetheless, directly or indirectly, the effect will be the same here, just to break the momentum of Tivoli. They were looking quite ominous. They were looking to turn the screws somewhat in a game that has lacked that torque in the attacking third.
I was about to say you can know when a player isn't injured because water isn't applied, but alas, there you go. So he probably is a little injured.
You're talking in the Jamaican landscape, right?
Yes, yes, of course. No, that's what I mean.
Yes. No, I know. I'm just making the obvious even more obvious. Yes, you're right. It's magical here. It's the land of wood and water, so it's that for a reason.
It's not one thing, it's the other.
Yes.
They're going to still have the water break in a minute. Probably just missed an opportunity there. Play continues. Looking for Morgan. Lang coming across to provide the interception.
Yeah, for a moment there, Morgan was favoured to get there.
Atkinson, the give and go with Thomas working there. Thomas making his way inside the box. Didn't quite reach him. Nelson couldn't quite gather. Ming to Thomas, to Ming. Forced to spread it wide to Irving. Irving. The pass was blocked and it's going to be a corner kick.
Yeah, but the good thing for Cavalier just now, they did something different against Pennycook. They created an overload and played that 1-2 to get by him because they weren't getting much joy when it was 1v1. And that's an adjustment we've seen from Cavalier in this second half. That's the fourth corner here for Cavalier. Tivoli in this encounter just had a corner kick once. But yeah, there was good double teaming and good overload by Cavalier.
Corner kick at the back post, and I don't think Watkins had a touch on it. You know, he went after it desperately, trying to get a hand on it, didn't, and luckily for him and his team, it went behind.
Yeah, he certainly needed to have followed that one through. I think Murray was at the back post, or not Murray at the time, coming in. I think it was Ming who was sliding in.
Thomas. Reed. Satchwell. Campbell. Fleming. Holding his balance. Taking the shot. Weak effort.
I think Nelson and Horatio had broken right side of Fleming, and the pass was on. That little drop pass was on. And the only way he would have gotten away with that was if he had scored. He should have made that pass. It was a good run by him, but really needed to have made that pass.
Never. No phone. Oh.
Cavalier trying to keep up the pressure here. Tivoli Gardens just comfortable with clearing their lines at the moment. Tope utilizing his strength. And loses out. And Tivoli Gardens will try to now press. Ball played inside. Horatio Morgan trying to get a touch on that one. He was looking for a call. And nothing came from referee Mason.
Again, the ball went inside. Yes, good ball in the end. But could he have taken it closer? He tracked Morgan all the way. Give him credit. Never allowed him to get away from him. Once the ball came in, Morgan was always going to be hard pressed to put that one in. A decent ball in the end. But because of Leng's run across his path, it's always going to be difficult for Morgan to get that one on target.
So Kamoy Simpson is off. Jamar Purcell is now on.
Substitution in the 68th minute.
As I expected, Simpson was going to be the first player off. As I said earlier, didn't expect him. I don't think they wanted him to play all of the 90 minutes.
Being replaced by number 80.
Tope, after that little run, is now off. Marlando Maxwell is now on for Cavalier. It's going to be interesting to see how they line up now. Who will be at the back?
Foul by TGFC.
They now have the water break.
I know that Doxley has played at the back before for them. He was operating in a central midfield role and could easily dropped into that slot. Interestingly though, 2 substitution early there, well, coming from Cavalier, and still no Webster. He was in their last game not present, their final preliminary round game. So don't know if he's not 100%. But we know we saw him on the bench today. Last time he was listed on the card, but was not seen on the bench. So we'll wait to see if he will get some introduction here. I think both teams are really looking to get the advantage coming out of this first leg. I did say and suggest that it could be just one goal which separates these two teams. Initially, I've given that edge to Tivoli to get that 1 goal lead coming out of this first leg. Wait to see if that materializes.
Doxley was making a run there. Didn't quite work out. It seems as if Doxley is going to be in that back line of 3. And we're also used to seeing him there as well, so he'll just take the spot of Jamoy Topi there. Melvin Doxley. Morgan.
Yeah, I think Atkinson realized that he was in an offside position. Pennycook had just stepped up as he made his run.
Fleming's couldn't keep it. Throw into Cavalier. And the sun is back. Nice touch from Irving. Oh, wonderful play from Irving, who goes down inside the box. And he cannot believe he doesn't get the call.
That was close call there for Tivoli. 2 defenders didn't do enough to stop the attack from Cavalier. And
here's Nelson, delivers that one at the back post. Too much on it for Gray. It goes behind for a goal kick.
I think Gray didn't judge that ball so well, but this is Cavalier. Irwin driving in the box.
Oh, that should have been a penalty. It's a second push from Price. You know, he did it once outside the box there. Then he went in, chased him again, and did it again. That's a penalty. I'm sorry.
Oh, we've seen those given for sure. And maybe for the referee felt that Irwin went down a bit too easily. That could be the only thing that I could look at there.
So a third push then.
Yeah. No, but yeah, that could be the only thing that could justify it. But that was pretty much close from Price, and he has to watch that type of play. But it was good driving run there from Irwin.
It's almost as if he said, you know, it didn't really work the first time, although it was outside the box. And then he did it again. Same push inside the box.
Yeah, he was beaten for pace there, and he was always second best. And he wanted to do everything to try and stop that attack.
Was there a handball on the edge of the box?
But that one would have come off the body.
Onto the hand. Yep.
So on that occasion, I guess that the reading of the referee, which is why, yeah, he
Mhm.
didn't call it. Hand was away from body, was touching the sleeve area of his jersey, so not even so far down and clear cut as one would say. So, but I think from the body to the arm is what is being adjudged there.
Long throw inside the area. At the back post, a chance. And Watkins was brave to go out there and grab it.
It was a good block from Watkins. He made himself very big and made the goal very small for Atkinson to aim at.
Yep.
Those are some close calls though for Tivoli in this last 4 or 5 minutes of this encounter. Cavalier would feel like the impetus, the momentum is with them at this moment, and they would want to capitalize.
There's the delivery inside, headed away. Good work on the turf by Campbell.
Yeah, Sashwell there, he was caught in possession, was holding his hand up, but he got a lot of shout and should have gotten that one away. That's a dangerous area. I always say for the holding midfielders, you deal with that ball as if your life depends on it, as we see Fleming's on the turf, a very experienced player for this Tivoli team. One of the fathers of this team, along with Teddy Johnson, who's on the bench, who got his first goal in the last game with a penalty kick. Teddy Johnson. But Philip Williams there, still pacing himself, checking the time, maybe wondering if he needs to inject someone else into this game to get the breakthrough. When he made the substitution, the double substitution, shortly thereafter, Tivoli did look much better, had a sustained period of pressure, but that has diminished significantly in recent times, and Cavalier, they have injected some fresh legs, and they're getting now some sustained pressure.
Yeah, there's Jermaine Teddy Johnson. I'm wondering if he's going to be involved this afternoon. Probably not. Let's see though. But it can sense a shift in momentum here for Cavalier. They've just been busting the possession in the last few minutes. And I must tell you that almost 40% of their goals this season have come in the final 15 minutes. So Cavalier will be hoping to add to that with another strike later on here.
Yeah, they'll be looking to do that, but they will also be mindful that the last time they met Tivoli did score late, but Cavalier was much later, as you rightfully said. They will go all the way down to the 90 minute because they scored against Tivoli in the 90 plus 6 Cavalier. So you're right, Donald.
Here's a chance. Ball delivered inside. Irving is there. Sets it back down. And the shot from Purcell is straight to the keeper.
That could have been tricky for Watkins because it went through the legs of Morgan. But you felt Irwin could have gone for goal. Maybe there was not much power. He didn't back himself, but not much power on it, and he wasn't able to generate as much.
At the end of the day, he probably did the right thing.
Yeah, and as I said, it could have been tricky for Watkins because through the legs of Morgan, never easy for goalkeepers.
Ball launched long to the edge of the box. Nelson has it. Surrounded by a couple of defenders and does well to still keep it. Does really well, Anthony Nelson. Challenge coming in now. A strong one from Leng. Pennycook. Flemings.
Yeah, poor one in the end. It was a promising move and from a very dangerous position, but Tivoli again quality lacking in the final third. And so Cavalier still with their three at the back, and Doxel is still a part of, it's been a part of since the substitution of Topez.
Poor ball picked up by Morgan. Morgan inside the Trayvon Reed. And Referee not giving any pushes today, it seems.
It was a good challenge in the end from Maxwell. Referee being consistent. It's a physical game. Didn't do much there to put off Reed. I think Reed didn't protect it well and wasn't aware of Maxwell's recovery run.
Purcell playing it over to that far side. Atkinson trying to pull out the back heel to Ming. And Tivoli Gans themselves now trying to transition. Nelson over on this left-hand side, trying to find Reed, and no problems there for King.
Nelson should have done much better. He ought to have cushioned that pass much better. We see Teddy there getting into a little scuffle there with King.
Well, they should deal with it on the park then.
Teddy can't do anything on the park. He has to wait until he comes on. Maybe sending a signal to the coach that, look, coach, I'm up for the fight. And he has to make sure he's in control of what he's doing. Don't want to be red carded before coming onto the park. Not that he would want to be red carded when he gets onto the park.
Atkinson is a troublemaker, you know, going across to his former KC schoolmate, telling him to calm down. Reed and Atkinson, weren't they dangerous together too? Long throw inside the box. Satchel trying to dink that one wide. Purcell with a spectacular clearance, didn't go too far. McCain sends it across wide. Campbell delivers this one inside, headed out. Purcell again goes aerial with his clearance. Now it's Tivoli's turn to try and apply some pressure. Horatio Morgan, Trayvon Reed.
Yeah, that's better from Reed. Protected that pass very
Morgan
well.
sends it out wide. Morgan again. Threads this one inside, looking for Reed. And back there is Doxley.
Yeah, Reed couldn't sort his feet out quick enough to take that one from Morgan, but it was good combination play, good build up on the edge of the box there from Tivoli. Looking to find that incisive, precise pass.
Morgan. And they've lost it. And Atkinson, only a Chanel Thomas in front of him, finds Thomas. Thomas not with the best first touch. Referee saying play on as well. Reed, Morgan, back to Reed. Satchwell. Inside the box, a chance there over the top.
And goalkeeper got a touch on that. J.D. White did get a touch on it.
Anthony Nelson with the opportunity there. Went by his marker. It was always going over the top, but yeah, probably got some fingertips there, J.D. White.
Yeah, good move. And once he got by the pressing defender, there was only one thing on his mind, looking to get it out of his feet and strike on goal. And brought out a save from White.
Well, I think probably needs some attention for real this time.
Yeah, for sure would have extended himself and then fall.
Couple more changes to be made by Cavalier. Atkinson is going to come off. Giovanni Mito is coming on. Thomas is also coming off. Colin Anderson is now on for Cavalier.
And in a game like this, as I said, again I will, as we look at the double substitutions coming up, It's really interesting to see that Webster is still on the bench. Don't think he has his boots on even. So that's interesting. As I said, have not seen him since the game against Portmore. Some more youngsters coming onto the park.
Well, if he's needed for any leg of the semi-finals, I suggest that they would rest him up for the second leg if there is an injury concern.
Yeah, if there's an injury. If not, well, I guess he'll be on. So
Tivoli Gardens with this one at the near post. Reed will try again. Still the bodies to aim for. Inside the 6-yard box, it was cleared by Leng, or at least blocked by Leng. Oh, that's a lovely ball played through. It's a big chance for Cavalier. Oh, surely his first, his second, his third touch. Colin Anderson comes from off the bench and scores for Cavalier. It's a vital lead in these semi-finals. And what a change that is from the coaching staff. The utilization of his speed, breaching the Tivoli defense, and Cavalier ahead.
well, that's it that we asked for, that they break at pace, and for the first time they've really went at it in lightning speed, and that pass just cut out the retrieving defenders who were backpedaling, and he just made sure with all the efforts from Campbell trying to stop that one from going in, was never going to get there. He was certainly going to make sure of it, and coming off the bench his legs were very fresh, and so it carried him all the way into that 6-yard box, and enough was still left in there for him to slot that in before Campbell could have intersected.
There is always a need for speed, and Colin Anderson provided just that to get on the score sheet for Cavalier.
And that was after a crucial clearance on the goal line by Leng from a very, very dangerous ball into the box by Tivoli. That's a perfect example of counter-attacking football at its best.
The former Calabar player, he would have been in the sprinting squad, which had the likes of Chris Taylor, Michael Stevens, Tyreek Wilson. Wouldn't have been able to be front and center. But based on the evidence we just saw, he still has some speed to be at the forefront of that counter-attacking play, Colin Anderson. And it proves to be vital.
And what we didn't see in the first half was Tivoli pushing up the line. Yes, they were in transition because they were just attacking the goal, so the line was very high. And for the first time, Cavalier there got an opportunity to make runners go beyond the line.
Here's Purcell, inside to Anderson, forced away from goal by Price. They'll get the throw, Cavalier. 40% of their goals coming in the final 15 minutes, and Cavalier, they have done it again.
Yes, they've certainly done it again. And Tivoli now looking to inject some fresh legs in there. Surprised that McCain wasn't taken out earlier, because he really was disappointing a lot of time with his passes and being caught in possession, but he finally comes out.
So Davian Garrison is on for McCain. Trayvon Reed is now coming off. Jermaine Johnson is now going on. Deborah Gray is also off. Rodico Wellington is now on the park for Tivoli Gardens. Goal kick given. Challenge coming there from Mitu.
We've seen some urgency from Tivoli.
Campbell. Can they pull a goal back? Sets up the second leg well though, the scoreline, you'd think.
Yes, it does. For sure, Tivoli will not feel like they're out of it, and Cavalier will know that they haven't won it.
Here they come again, Cavalier. Anderson. Well, Mitu wasn't reading that one at all. Fleming. Morgan. Sliding challenge coming in from Ming, who's also had an outstanding game for Cavalier.
He certainly has, but so has Leng, and I think Leng has really been very good at the back, dealing with whatever has come his way. Crucial clearance just before the goal for Cavalier. Yeah, Pennycook was very firm there.
Yes, he was. Fleming's cutting inside, feeding it to Wellington. First touch wasn't the best from Rodico Wellington. And now they are trying to counter. Anderson again utilizing his speed on the right. Slowing down just a little bit though. Purcell is there asking for it. He was going one way and the pass from Anderson went in the opposite direction. And now Tivoli Gardens going in the opposite direction. Can they pull a goal back? It's inside to Teddy Johnson now. Johnson inside. Trying to control that one. Twisting, turning, leaving the ball behind Davian Garrison. He's thinking of the shot, you know, Barrington Price. Decides to go left. Ball played inside. Clearance made by Cavalier.
Yeah, 4 minutes in all of that. 4 minutes has been indicated by the fourth official. And Teddy Johnson has brought the aggression or the same energy that was on the sideline onto the pitch. He's at the center of this stoppage by the referee. Referee just seeking some assistance from his assistant on our near side here.
They have so much respect for him though. they do, including Richard King, who would have been a part of and they're a civil conversation and a handshake. I like that. They had their disagreement a few moments ago when Johnson was on the sidelines then, but obviously there is a lot of respect between the young star defender and the wily veteran. Jaden White doing what Jaden White does in terms of managing the time well.
And I'm wondering if for Coach Williams, if he would have ruled not possibly making some changes to the starting lineup from the previous game, having played so many games over a short period. In the end here we're seeing where Cavalier with a lot of fresh legs really looking to up the tempo late in the game, and it could have been a deliberate ploy by them to really go at it in the latter parts of the game, and like you rightfully said, backed up by the statistics as we see a substitution here.
So Jerome McCleary, who has a goal to his name, the 17-year-old originally from Port Antonio High, is now on the park.
Yeah, he's looking to, well, he's replacing Irwin, who also had a decent game for Cavalier and would have come off the field thinking he should have had a penalty early on. But I think that will be forgotten at this stage if they can hold on to this slender lead they have. Pretty sure to get more than the 4 minutes here. We're into the 4th minute now. But I could see another minute and a half, 2 minutes added onto it.
So throw into Tivoli Gardens. Waiting on the whistle. There it is. Headed away. Morgan needs to deliver. Looked more like a clearance to me. Here they go the other way. Ball over the top. Wasn't anywhere near Anderson. The keeper though will come out, and he does his job well. Cavalier still with it. And there's a foul on Giovanni Mitu.
Well, Tivoli also have to realize, because we recognize here that they're really going for the equalizer and they're becoming more open and stretched. I know they'd love to have it to go in level, but also they have to understand it's just a goal in it, and they wouldn't want to concede a second. And every time that Cavalier wins the ball back now, high up the pitch when Tivoli attacks, we see 4 players at least breaking at pace.
They're under pressure. Tivoli Gardens, difficult to even get out of their own defensive third. And it's a free kick to Tivoli Gardens. Late in the piece. But still deep inside their own half. As a satchel went long there. Wellington taking the throw himself. Morgan heading to the byline. Needs some support. Pulls it back to Teddy Johnson. Johnson whips it inside to Wellington. Inside the box there as well, trying to get a touch. Was the substitute Davian Garrison. Still Tivoli Gardens looking for that equalizer. Pennycook inside the area. Headed out and headed away. And seconds remaining. Satchwell inside. Wellington looking to get there. Still not clear properly. Shot from distance. It's wide. It's high. It's ineffective from Jeremy Teddy Johnson. And that's how he put a wrap on the match for Tivoli Gardens, who really could not find the target. Cavalier, with how this first leg ended, 1-0 in their favor over Tivoli Gardens.